Backlog. Did you do that?
All right,
Yeah,
we
the amount
are.
of money is insane of how much he makes.
He literally just dives into a sea of his own money.
Yeah, which would kill you?
Yeah, I mean, I was like thought about that as a kid. I was thought it looked really cool to dive into like a bunch of coins, and then
And I tried it.
then you realize that you're basically gonna smash your face in when you know, but
Yeah.
it still looks cool.
I freaking love DuckTales.
Ooh,
Yeah. Woo!
Yo, Phil,
yo,
thanks for joining us.
you're welcome.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Are we live?
We are live.
Oh, yeah, it looks like we are live.
Yes, we are in fact
All right.
live.
Thanks for the heads up, my dude.
So here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have listened to the Nerdist podcast before?
Some.
Some of it.
Nope.
It used to have Chris Hardwick hosting it. Before he got canceled by the Nerdist, which was a company that he created, and then I think he does a different named podcast.
That's rough.
It's like ID10T, and I looked up like what it really wasn't that bad, but I think, don't quote me on that.
Sex crime allegations.
Yeah. But anyway, what he does when he does a podcast is he doesn't tell people when he goes live. He just goes live, and then they eventually just ask, "Are we live?" And yeah. I kind of like doing the same thing sometimes because it feels a little bit more natural. But anyway, so Phil, usually the format of the podcast is before Quintessence and I start the interview, we start talking about our weeks, then we do the interview, and then if we have time, we do current events, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
As our guest, would you like to do us the honor of going first? How was your week, Phil?
Extraordinarily average. It was just a normal week. Nothing really crazy. It was a very productive week when it comes to content reasons. Did pretty good this week for content, but
good.
I have nothing to complain about. I ate like a pig this week. I know that. I ate horrible.
That sounds awesome.
It was great. Like what I ate was delicious, but man, I ate way too much.
So like with our weeks too, I don't know if this helps at all. And I actually wrote this in here. Usually we could talk about any game, movie, anime we're watching, interesting things or weird things that happened to us during the week. I don't know if you're playing anything or you're like watching any movies or anime right now that is really something you're enjoying.
I'm playing Catherine for the first time.
That's a great game.
That's a very interesting game.
Banger.
Yeah, I was not expecting. Oh, what happened to my camera?
Discord decided to give up.
That be what it was. Like I definitely saw like pictures and like videos. I've heard stuff about it and how it's kind of a little bit racy, but in no way did I just. Can I swear on this and talk about?
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I did not at all think there was just gonna be a girl throwing herself at you in the videos. I'm like, yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's no way this happens in real life. This is definitely a video game and not real. With some of the stuff happening in that game. It's a fantasy game, 100%. There's no way any of that's happening. But overall, the gameplay wise, dude, it's a solid game. Like it feels like an indie, but it plays like a AAA game. I don't know how else to describe it. It's really solid with how simple what the game is, just climbing and stuff.
Yep.
And the story is that's like top tier, like anime looking quality in the like cinematics. I'm really impressed. Like I can't wait to continue playing it.
And to think that game came out in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah. I mean,
did you guys know there's also an esport for Catherine?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a huge.
They do the puzzle versus. It's huge.
Yeah, there's a huge side event like world in there. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's actual like cash prizes. People are super passionate. They've developed all of this like tech and strategies. It's insane.
There we go,
They took
backlog. You and
something
me have to
so
do a
basic.
1v1 one of these days, and Catherine.
1v1.
I am terrible at puzzle games.
1v1 me, Catherine, you freaking scrub.
Yeah, dude, that's like the ultimate flex. If you can, like, you show up to a tournament and like everyone picks like one tournament they want to play in, and you show up with Catherine as your game.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, like most people would like, you win. Here's the L. I'm not even gonna bother.
How do you play this game?
Yeah. Like it's the same thing of like I was a big fan of Sushi Striker on the Switch when that came out.
Mhm.
The game was super fun, but no one bought it. So like I remember I was going to my Smash local and like, anyone want to play Sushi Striker with me? And then I'm like, what the hell is this? I love that game.
Did you turn anybody on to Sushi Striker?
Goose egg.
Goose egg, nobody.
Absolutely not. No one wants to play that game with me.
Not
Also,
even a one.
it's one of those games I'm pretty confident in myself too. Like I actually put the time in to learn it for when no one else wanted to. So like I still retain some of the skills. So if I pulled it up right now, I'd probably be able to like beat whoever I faced. It's one of those type of like weird puzzle games that like if you put the effort in, you actually like kind of retain some of the muscle memory.
That reminds me of
Kinda like the Tetris 3D.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Tetris 3D or remember Mortal Kombat, I think it was like Armageddon had the puzzle fighter that they did.
Yeah,
you
that
could
was
go
super fun.
you could go online and fight other people. I think it was online at the time, but
I think it was Pokemon Puzzle League's another one that was super
Yep.
fun.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
Oh, yeah, that's
Super
fun.
Puzzle Fighter that's coming
Super
out in
Puzzle
the
Fighter.
Camp collection.
Yep.
That's pretty hype. Rollback netcode for Puzzle Fighter 2. Let's go.
I'm like Loki. Don't believe it's gonna have real rollback. I think it's fake rollback.
Man,
Uh-oh.
like
An
KOF.
Early Street Fighter 5 rollback.
Yep. It's gonna be on that mean Tekken 7 rollback.
Oh, hey, that's kind of rude.
They use like just 2 cups and a wire for their internet connection.
You know what's scary
What
though?
happens if we just mix delay with rollback? Oh, you get Tekken 7.
Get Tekken 7. What's scary though is that Tekken 7 also plays better online than a lot of other games. I mean,
yeah.
I know that people like to shit on Tekken 7s online, but after this year of trying so many new fighting games, and I'm like, this is actually not as like I still feel like Tekken 7 still does a lot better than a lot of the other games coming out right now.
Yeah, it's not like hopping onto one of the anime fighters. Like Under Night, if you played Under Night online, it's literally the worst thing ever. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I think anime fighters in general are kind of like are very big on it. Besides Guilty Gear, man, Guilty Gear has probably the best online of any fighting
Yeah,
game I've played.
probably. I wish I liked that game more.
I don't know.
Damn shame.
The game is a lot of fun until you have to start learning how to play the game at the higher levels. When you hit like the plateau of Guilty Gear Strive, that's when the game no longer becomes fun. It's fun in the beginning, at least when I was playing, and then I got to the part where like, oh, I got to start trying. Ugh, I don't want to do any of this.
But that's how MK11 was for me. I was like, oh man, this game's awesome. And then like the meta started forming, like, oh no, this game's actually terrible. This is all just zoning. And reset to zone. Oh no.
NetherRealm Studios' biggest curse was allowing every character to have some type of projectile.
Yeah, right?
I remember where I was playing Injustice 1 with a friend, and I was playing Martian Manhunter against him, and as soon as I threw his overhead fireball, right, because it hit somebody crouching from like a distance away, he literally put down the controller and he's like, screw this game, I'm not playing this anymore. Just because it had like an overhead fireball that wasn't like Akuma's, or it kind of it seemed he just did not care for it.
I mean, that's a fair statement.
He's a Marvel player. I mean, I don't know how.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he prefers to be in block strings. I get it.
It's amazing, like I don't want to say hate, but like just the opinions of when it comes from like the Capcom side of fighting game players with Marvel and Street Fighter. And the second they like touch any other fighting game, they immediately just say it's trash, and the rest of the FGC is like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, no, it's just it's a different style. Why can't you just learn a different style? If you start with a different fighting game, if you start outside of Capcom, you love all fighting games. If you start with Capcom, you like Capcom.
I think, man, what was it for?
I started Street Fighter 2.
I want to say
I still love most fighting games.
I could probably give you a pass because it's Street Fighter 2. Because I technically started.
That's
Everyone
fair.
started. Yeah, Street Fighter 2 is kind of the jumping.
Oh, you're
point.
kind of oldish. All right, Street Fighter 2. That was the game you played, right?
There's a decent chance I'm older than you.
Actually, I think.
Oh yeah.
I'm ancient.
Are you 33?
I am.
Yeah, we're all 33 here.
Oh, okay.
The old
Welcome
man
to your
podcast.
people.
Yeah,
Well,
welcome to
what
your
month are you guys, huh? What month?
April.
February.
August.
Oh, damn.
You all wait, are you gonna turn 33 this month, or are you gonna be 34?
I'm already 33. I'm gonna be 34. Well, no, wait. What the?
I'm 33 this month.
How old am I?
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn 34 this year, so I'm older than all you.
God damn it!
You're older.
God
You
damn
win.
it. Wait, what year were you born? 88.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send your walker in the mail.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Thank
We're gonna slap a backlog sticker on it too.
You can't see it, but underneath my table I have CO2 tanks ready to go. So.
It's good to be prepared.
Where do you keep your life alert necklace?
It's on my belt.
Oh, sick. All right,
Yeah.
cool. You could.
I never was a necklace or wrist wearing type of person.
Oh,
so
fair.
I went with the belt.
Fair enough. I mean, I think if you want, since you're looking into merch, you could probably look into a Phil, of course. Life alert. Yeah.
That's awesome. I would love it to get to a point where they can just put like the I don't know a microchip into a tattoo, so I can just like slap my tattoo. Maybe that can be.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
Step.
Yeah.
Yeah, just life alert, like hit the walrus on my arm, and that'll be.
I'd like to think that once you pull your life alert, instead of calling the ambulance, it just pulls up some of your videos on your phone and just starts playing them.
Oh,
I mean, you need the views, man. Let's get.
Change what I was watching as views.
Cancels the 911 call. Yeah. Wait a second.
What about you guys? You guys asked me about how my day was. I gotta ask you guys. How was your week?
Oh no,
Quintessence, you want to?
Oh yeah,
want to go second?
He saw through me. I mean, my week was pretty average. I ended up watching and binging Hitmonkey on Hulu, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
That show looked weird.
It was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. Basically, it's like Jason Sudeikis as a ghost mentoring a monkey to be a hitman. And the monkey's like getting revenge.
Phil, you look perplexed.
I'm trying to understand. Is this an anime? Is this a cartoon?
It's a cartoon.
Yeah,
I was really hoping this was a live action thing. I'm gonna be honest.
Right. That's fair.
What is this? You said this is on Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
That's probably why I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's like MODOK.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're probably not gonna, unless you keep your ear low to the ground, you're probably not gonna know about it.
Oh, they advertised it quite a bit on Hulu, but I don't think they advertised it outside of Hulu is the issue there.
I think I remember seeing commercials for it, but yeah.
Other than that,
Hulu's
like more Elden Ring because that's my addiction.
Everybody's addiction.
I started a little Tekken 7 again recently. I am terrible at that game. Again, feels like I've forgotten everything.
Who you playing in Tekken?
I play Fang.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Fang. Fang's really fun.
He's actually an all-character specialist.
Yeah, right. Sure feels like it. I just hop around a bunch, but I've stuck with Fang for a bit now, right? Fang and Miguel are my boys.
I want to say it was Tekken 5. I remember I had a buddy who played Fang, and I hated my life.
That's fair.
He's a very good character. He's always been a very well-rounded character.
Yeah, that's kind of why I picked him. Like, originally I picked up Leo, but I'm like, man, Leo's just kind of cheeks in Tekken 7, so we're moving on. And then I'm like, oh, Fang's just a better version of Leo with more options. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're doing this.
That's funny because people say that Lydia is a better version of Leo. Well, actually,
Yeah,
when she
I mean,
first
she
came
kind of
out,
is.
people were saying that Leo is a better version of Lydia, and now it's the other way
What?
around because
Oh,
of
wow, people are
course.
insane. Well, I mean, they also said Lydia's like, oh yeah, she's mid at best. She's
Yeah.
very,
When I
straightforward.
when I
Has no
started playing
options.
her, everyone told me she was low tier, and then all of a sudden she became like S tier within the
Yeah,
next
and then
couple
he's
of
like, yeah,
months.
no, she's probably top 1. Then oh,
Everybody has a pocket Lydia now.
yeah, then every pro has a pocket Lydia or mains her now. Oh, it's gross. I
Uh,
hope we get another Tekken patch. But anyways, that's pretty much it for my week. Like, it wasn't super productive or anything. Just big old vibing week.
oh, that's cool,
What
man.
about you, Mr. Backlog?
Things have been going well. I started getting my sleep schedule down with my new job. Working overnights has kind of been kicking my ass a little bit. We sat down and we watched episodes of Kamen Rider Revice, which was, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. Compared to Agito, we've been watching Kamen Rider Agito in the backlog Kamen Rider Club Discord every Sunday. Uh, this show has a budget. Agito did not. That show came out in like 2002, and so it's a little jarring looking at
Yeah,
both
there will be
shows
slight
side to
budgetary
side.
differences between 2002 and, you know,
2021.
2022.
There's a whiplash of like it's you can definitely tell that the show got more and more popular the past 20 years. Um
For sure.
uh the team transformations are kind of nuts because they just seem like a giant joke. Um
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just a jumble of things being said.
I don't know if you guys ever watched Venture Brothers. I'm sure you
Oh, of course.
kinda. Did you ever see them do Mecha Shiva? Where basically one of them sits on the other person's shoulders and like they'll wave their arms around. Anyway, basically that's how in Revice their transformations work. Is usually the other one just sits on the other person's shoulders and then they do crazy things. I can't wait to watch more of it. See what happens
Yeah, seems like a good
coming up.
one.
Yeah, it seems pretty interesting. Friday we had Retro Friday stream. I played lots of Saturn games, and boy, it was interesting. I played Final Fight Revenge, which is a rough fighting game that came out in 1999. Okay, at that time, the Dreamcast was already out. With games like Power Stone and Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle that look worlds better
A
than.
Saturn game was released that late?
Yeah, it was the last official game released for the Saturn.
Oh,
It
okay.
it honestly looks like Street Fighter EX1, which came out in 96. So the year, like 3 years, and compared to the Dreamcast at the time, it looks horrible. But that game is
Hmm.
broken as shit. But a great love letter to Final Fight if anybody here is, a Final Fight fan.
That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. It also has items built into the game as like a 3D fighter, but so like
Oh, garbage.
yeah yeah. Well, the items are broken, so like you'll have like a flamethrower, and you know how like Akuma's fireball like it obviously goes down at an angle. You could use a flamethrower and then kind of hover near the ground. Like as soon as you use it, you slow down in the air, so you
Oh,
could kind of like
Jesus.
use it as a cross up and all this other like really absurd shit. Um,
Sounds like Power Stone.
it kinda is, and I guess the other crazy thing is that it was made by an American company, but only released in Japan. So that
What?
yeah.
What? Okay.
Capcom paid an American company to make Final Fight Revenge for the Saturn. Also, this game's stupid expensive now too. It's like around $300.
What company was it?
I can't remember the name of the company, but basically they paid a company to make the game for the Saturn, and it came out in Japan only. But it was an American company that made Final Fight Revenge, which is, I believe, I could be wrong about that, but I think that's in my my memory archive there. But either way,
Okay.
that game is kind of fun if you love jank games. Uh, I also played some Fighters History Dynamite, which I don't. Has anyone ever played that game? It's.
Nope, never even heard of it.
Have you heard of Karnoff's Revenge? Or
I feel like that's a trivia question that I would have gotten wrong.
Right, same.
They're SNK games, but it has basically the SNK boss syndrome. CPU blocks everything. The main character
Read your buttons.
It reads your buttons. The main character's a ripoff between Terry Bogard and Ken from Street Fighter. It's a pretty cool game. You guys should check it out. It has like a very passionate, of course, small fan base, but you probably see it as like a side game or something like that. It's super broken. It's like Breaker's Revenge or something like that. And then I think the other game was Manic's TT Superbike, which is an interesting motocross game for the Saturn that it has. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but it was made by the Sega Sports team, which I don't know if you guys have ever played like Sega Rally Racing or Daytona USA.
I've played those.
Yeah,
definitely played Daytona.
It's from the same team that made that, so it has a phenomenal soundtrack, and I think it sort of has the same layout of it only has like 3 stages, sort of like virtual racing. Really enjoyed that game. For the little time that I played it, I'll probably go back and mess around with it. The soundtrack is really good. I don't know if I said that before, but and then I suppose the last of my week was made playing KOF 15. And let me say that since the last time I played the game, apparently everybody became killers because I just got bodied for like 2 hours straight. I had played like rank 10 players who had like 200 games. and man, their punishes were on point. At this point with KOF 15, I really need to commit to going into the lab, working on my movement, short hops, and combos if I really want to keep playing the game. Because it seems like now the only people who are playing it are people who give a shit.
Yeah, it looks like only the hardcores are left. I just brought it up on Steam charts.
God damn it!
And,
you in the Steam charts?
Pretty.
What's the?
Hey, I love to look at the Steam charts.
What's the
24-hour peak's only 1,578.
What's Tekken 7's at right now?
I don't know. I didn't look up Tekken 7.
Sorry, I just...
Tekken 7's at 3,303. Tekken never dies.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Live on forever.
And I suppose that was my week.
Nice.
And I guess with that, we can start moving on to the interview segment, unless anyone has something they wanted to talk about beforehand.
I want to know who you guys play in King of Fighters.
Oh boy, I played Team Basic, so
Terry, Iori, and Rock.
No, you're one off though.
Yep.
So close.
Thank you.
Mary.
Who's okay?
Blue Mary.
Okay, no, Blue Mary's actually pretty. It's not basic.
She's
up there. She's up there. I would definitely say you go Terry and Iori, and then Kyo and Mai. I think are, at least in my opinion, the ones I probably see the most. Mary, there's some tricks to her. Like she's a 50-50 monster, but you have to know how to do those 50-50s. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's on point for me.
Mhm. Oh,
Uh,
really? Oh, then she's a great on point character.
yeah, I basically have it marry Iori Terry, of course.
Mm.
And what's your team made of? I gotta ask you.
Me, I've actually switched today. I now have Rock full time as my point.
The Rock's so
Rock,
good.
Rock, he's insane. I almost put B Jenny on as well, but I switched. I was using Athena since launch,
Hmm.
and I just can't do a zoner in this game. I tried, it just doesn't work. I switched to May or Mai, and I've have been using King of Dinosaurs pretty much since launch too.
You
So
know who
that's my team.
you know who
It's
you
a
may
wild team.
like, and I feel like this character is underrated. Is I think you might like Maxima.
I tried his. I just doing his trials. I didn't like.
Hmm.
That's why I moved away from him because the trials are kind of like your test if you're gonna like the character or not. And I
Mm.
tried the trials with Maxima. I'm like, ugh, everything felt wrong.
So
I like that he has a laser beam as a super move though. That's pretty cool. Lex
He's
Luthor
Iron
laser beam.
Man.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is Iron Man. He's legit SNK Iron Man. Uh, but so here's why I say you might like Maxima. He's not necessarily your damage character. He's a great battery on point. If you use him on point, you can build meter with him by, if you're a neutral, you just start pumping out his half circle forward punch, and you can
Mhm.
start building meter really quickly, and then kind of lame people out. Uh,
Mhm.
not necessarily like just going all in and rushing people down. He with his punch and also his armor moves, he like basically takes up a lot of like he owns a certain amount of like mid-screen real estate that makes it
Mhm.
really difficult to get in on him. Like his punch has armor hits on it and will hit in the air if you time it correctly. So, not to mention he has like command grabs and he has like a shoulder tackle that you can kind of mix up things
He kind
with.
of like when I played him, he was kind of reminding me a little bit of Jugs from MVC2. Or Juggernaut from MVC2. He had all that super armor. I don't remember if he had a command grab or not, but he did try him out, but like just where I'm at right now, I haven't decided on the final team yet.
Hmm.
I'm also waiting for Team Southtown because I made it to throw Geese or one of the other characters on there too. Like I am also like kind of hoping we get like some guest characters, like maybe like Street Fighter characters as like some of the other teams, or maybe like a Team Sam show or a Team Last Blade or something like that. I'm really hoping for that too.
I think it's possible. I I really think that Street Fighter Capcom versus SNK 3 is possible. I still think it is.
Me too.
Unlikely, but I have a feeling that with how SNK is doing right now and Capcom, uh, especially with them doing mobile crossovers, I feel like they're just testing the waters to see if that's something that people may or may not want. Maybe they might even release a collection soon of
Dude, oh my god, if they released all of the SNK crossovers, I'd buy that like frame one. I'd buy that.
yeah.
Frame one. Like not even a question.
Yeah, I think CVS2 was one of the game. CVS2 was actually the game that got me into Street Fighter. So
Really?
yes,
Interesting.
I don't know if you remember
That
from.
seems so backwards.
Is
Yeah, I
it?
know. Like, no, that's I love hearing stuff like that though. Like, I didn't even know. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know what SNK was until like 2013. Like, I knew what Metal Slug was, but I didn't know it was SNK, and I didn't even know like the Fatal Fury games or the Sam Show. I didn't know any of those games were because those cabinets just didn't exist in my neck of the woods. Like it was all Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter up here. So like I didn't even know those games existed until those games started getting ported to like the newer consoles, like the Xbox and like the PlayStation. I didn't even know those games existed until way later.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So for me, it was in the beginning. It was SNES emulators basically. is how how I played Street Fighter, how I played, Fatal Fury and stuff like that. So when I saw that there was like a CVS2 or like that Capcom and SNK had a crossover, I was like, "What? This exists? That's so cool." And I was a big fighting game fan, so I started playing it, and that's how I learned how to fireball, DP, and stuff. I had CVS2 for the PS2. That game's great. So it has a special place in my heart for fighting games. But I like I said to you before during our interview on the Phil of Course podcast or podcast of
It's
course.
it's the podcast, of course.
Okay, just want to make sure. I think I
Some
told
good
you
branding.
that I started off with Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 on the Super Nintendo. So I was always like an MK person more so than Street Fighter growing up. But I was always curious about Street Fighter. Like the grass was always greener.
Mm.
Anyway,
I did like. I never thought there was a rivalry between them either. Like I didn't know there was a rivalry between all these different games, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Virtua Fighter. I didn't know there was like rivalries amongst these. I just thought everyone played all of them. And then I got to like my first arcade, and I'm like, whoa!
yeah.
Like the Tekken guys were like glaring at you, like Street Fighter kids were like stealing your tokens. Like I was like, what is? It's a different world. But I'll let you guys do your interview.
Is it so? One more question. Did you live in a highly populated area?
I do.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't.
Okay.
So I mean, we had an arcade, but it wasn't like you're not getting side eyes from people skipping school to go to the arcade or something like that.
The main arcade for me was at the local mall, which is like the hub mall for like I want to say like 50 to like 100 miles around us. So if you were going to the arcade,
Wow.
that's the only mall that you were going to. So like when you go to the mall, like on a Saturday, Thursday night, Friday night, or whatever, all the parents would drop the kids off. There you go. They'll go to the arcade. Here's like 10 quarters. Goodbye. We're going shopping. And then all the kids were there. So I also, during the arcade years, I did get kind of obsessed with DDR. So I was debating what quarters were going. But I do remember like there's just like I kind of got turned off by certain people from the fighting game scene in my local arcade because they're just kind of pompous and what I am now. So I can understand.
What we all are now, Phil.
There's a lot of elitism.
There is. It's very unwarranted, by the way. Very unwarranted.
Oh yeah.
Like
and it's always great because like a bad release comes for one of those games. Like it's fine, and everyone's like, yeah, sure, greatest game ever, huh?
Yeah. What makes me laugh is that other games like crap on other games. Like everyone is like the big popular thing is the shit on MK11 right now. Like it's been going on for a while. MK11 is the best selling fighting game of all time right now. Everyone's just ripping it to shreds because like, yeah, the best selling fighting game is horrible. Then why is the best selling fighting game? Can you explain that to me? What doesn't make any sense?
It's really accessible. It's fun. It's just not fun at the high level.
Yeah, like and even that, it's like you just got to understand it's a different game. Like if you just understand what you're going in, you're playing a very footsie based game that when you do a throw, it deals half a life bar. So like you just got to learn how that game. That's how that one game works. I'm sure in MK12 or MKX2 or whatever they're gonna call it is gonna be.
It'll be the same.
Yeah, or hopefully they improve on it. Like I love Injustice. Injustice 2 is like my all-time favorite game. You know the Zone game? I love it.
Oh yeah.
Love that game.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's my all-time favorite like modern fighting game. Like I'll play that.
But you can't play Athena?
No, I don't. I can't play I can't play a zoner in KOF, man. It is people get in way too quick. Dude, coming from Injustice where your whole entire game is to keep them away to where every single character thrives at getting in. I just can't do it in KOF. I gave up on Athena. Don't get me wrong, I like her. I just gave up on her.
I played an Athena player, and let me tell you, it was all rushdown. It was zoning sometimes, but I couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
It was a champion player, Athena.
Oh yeah,
and just like the amount of how good she is at rush, I could not stop her. I had no idea. Like you have to lab Athena when someone's that good with her. Uh,
She seems
Oh,
like more of an
yeah.
all-rounder in 15 than the traditional zoner.
yeah, but like getting
Like,
in on
she
her
has a
is not
lot of
simple.
tools. Yeah, of course.
It's
But
not.
then she's no slouch in the closest is the problem.
If she gets you in the corner, you're fucked. Because she also has a command grab, which is ridiculous, which goes into her other combos. Which, like she'll grab you and then she does her shield in the corner and then it pops you back up. Um anyway, uh Athena's good.
Just
I
Athena salt in there.
underrated in my opinion. So yeah, let's pop into the interview.
Interview
So,
time.
Phil, people
Oh
want to
yeah.
know, what are your humble beginnings? How did Phil become Phil of course? Tell the people who Phil of course is, what you do, and how you got your start.
Okay. I'm Phil, of course. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I am a fighting game content creator. I primarily am known for my TikToks and my silly. Um, I like making fun of the fighting game community more than being a part of it, I guess. I started making content like when I was probably, I think it was like 21, 22. I decided, like, I saw everyone making YouTube videos and I wanted to make World of Warcraft YouTube videos with my guild at the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, Phil, you've
Didn't
had a lot of different like phases of your career.
Yeah. I with that said, I started recording, and then when it got to learning how to edit, I had to use Windows Media Maker or Windows Movie Maker
Hmm.
on
Oh boy.
like a Windows HP. So I just gave up instantly and never I recorded all the stuff. I think I may have like thrown a couple of things onto like a YouTube channel because I just without editing and it was horrible.
Yeah.
But I did that, and I also had some when Smash Ultimate got announced, I started making content then again. So around 2017, I started doing, or 2016, 2017, I started making content for real, and it was just like who I wanted to be in the game. After that, I had zero success there, so I just gave up and had a bunch of stuff on the side. I've always tried to like think like do tournaments here, try to like help people out on different YouTube channels and stuff like that. Just nothing by myself. I gave up trying to do that. And then one day, um one of my roommates asked me to help him with a TikTok. So I'm like, sure, I'll help you out, whatever. And after that, he left to go post his, and I said, "Hey, I can do one of these." And I made one really quickly. It took like 5 minutes, and I posted it. And the first video, it got like 100,000 views, like
Oh.
like overnight. So I was like,
Killing it.
"Ah, maybe there's something to this." So while this is all going on, I've also tried. I started streaming and doing all that other stuff too. It just nothing ever takes off. So I started really grinding on TikTok. I did a video, videos that day, 2 videos the next day, and then I think it was by like the third day I was posting 3 videos a day, and I've done that every day since on TikTok. Um, I think I know how it works now. I think I figured out how it works. It's still a nightmare with the way things change on TikTok so quickly and so frequently. I can't always guarantee how things are going to work out. Like I'll post a video and I think it's going to do well because it's funny and I use the right hashtags and it's a popular trend going on, and then it gets like 100 views and I'm like, okay, that didn't work today. I think I've gotten to a point where all my views are they're respectable for what the content is. But over the last year of me posting all this stuff, I've hosted tournaments. I've started like chatting with some of the greats. People I've looked up to for years are just like messaging me on a whim, which blows my mind right now. Getting like messages from certain like pro players I've been watching for years. Like
Hmm.
I'm like, I guess I can consider myself friends with them, which is just like what? It's wild.
That's awesome.
Um I've also have a small like group of people, I don't want to say below me, colleagues that are also on TikTok, and we started this giant community. Backlog's part of it. FGC TikTok. We have this humongous community of just everyone that loves the genre. We work our butts off to like put out as much content for everyone that wants to see it. It's awesome. I love it, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Um So I think that answers everything you asked.
It was a
Uh,
loaded question.
yeah, it was a loaded
There was a
question.
lot to answer.
Don't feel like you have to answer that like there's a time or you have to rush or anything like that.
Oh no, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think I pretty much covered it. Like it's also made me, since I started, I've also like realized that I want to be a content creator full time. Like that is the goal for me now. So I've started putting these things in like place now. So when I finally can make that decision of quitting my real time job and doing this full time, I have everything in order. Like I'm saving money and I'm working extra hours at my real time job so I can put money away. So if I can do this and I need a little buffer in between, um, like being a content creator was never something that's taught in any school. So I can't, you don't really learn like how social media works or how to like do your taxes or any of that kind of stuff when it comes to that kind of when it comes to content creation or any of this. So you kind of have to like wing it to an extent and see what other people have done that have already had success. And like I look up to like Maximilian, Sajam, like all the big content creators that we all probably love. Like they don't really do like 101 classes on how to like make content for the genre.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a headache because you got to figure it out on yourself. But luckily, I've already been in touch with a bunch of people that have been able to help me out. Like I was telling Backlog, I'm trying to figure out merchandise, which is still saying it blows my mind. Like I'm trying to figure that out right now. I'm hiring artists and a whole bunch of stuff. Like I learned that I have to make sure I keep those receipts because that's write-offs, which
Yeah, tax write-offs, yeah.
like it's just like stuff I didn't even think of is like I can get that money back. It's so weird, but it's also exciting. Like I thought I was just gonna be a mailman for the rest of my life. Like there wasn't any way I thought I was gonna be making people laugh and talking about one of my favorite things in the world. And it looks like it's kind of coming true, which is really awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, great.
Now, I want to preface this. Some of these questions are gonna be a little loaded, and because I wanted to, I wanted to try something new with you, and don't feel like you have to rush at all, because some of these questions are gonna have a few parts to them. But
Okay,
there's
I need a piece of paper to write some of this shit
no, no,
down.
no, 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 no. You're fine. No pressure whatsoever. Don't feel like you have to, answer or give the perfect answer or anything like that.
You're just a guinea pig.
You're
It's
just a guinea
fine.
pig, and everything's
Phenomenal.
gonna be okay. This too will pass. So
Also, I gotta say, I love your hat, Backlog. That's
it's
awesome.
cheap as shit, but I love it too. Okay, so
Good hat.
the next question is, how did you start playing fighting games, and why do you think it's something that stuck with you for this long?
Um, my first, I can't figure out for sure which one it was. I was either playing Tekken with my one of my cousins. Have no idea. He had it on a PlayStation. It was either Tekken 1 or Tekken 2 on his PlayStation when we were kids, or it was a Mortal Kombat cabinet. It was one of those two. Those are my earliest memories. I vaguely remember not being able to reach the joystick and the buttons at one point on an arcade. I vaguely remember that. And I also remember playing Jack, like it was Jack or Jack 2 in Tekken with my cousins. Those I know they're specific, but those are two memories I can't remember which one those were. Now, all of my friends, well, this is something that maybe you guys have similarities to. When you grew up, uh, it's very hard to play certain games with one person when you have a big family. I have a gigantic family. And lucky for me, there's only one other boy. So what we do is usually we would bring one of our video game systems over the house. He usually had all of them. I never really had a lot of the systems. I always was a couple years behind when whatever a system came out. So if Super Nintendo came out, I didn't get it till it was like pretty much done, and the N64 was coming out. So he always had the new system. So he would come over and he'd play a game, and it was easier for us to play fighting games since there was a two-player game.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not going to show up and we're going to be playing like Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to play. You know what I mean? It's not fun. It's not fun to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your mom in the
So
background saying, "Play something you both can play." Like
Then you hand him a controller.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there was a few times, of course, like we would have games that we both would play at the same time, and we would take turns trying to beat a level. That was fun every now and then.
Yeah.
But like the big one that I always remember was we would just play fighting games. Like the memories of unlocking those things, unlocking characters, trying to get better. I always sucked, by the way. I was so bad at them as a kid, so bad. I would find one move and use that move, and that's it.
Yep.
And usually it was the grab. Like I just was so bad at it.
But did it work?
No.
Oh, well,
I remember when I learned how to do Law's flip. You know how he does like the somersault kick?
The
When
frog
I
hop,
learned
yeah.
that, yeah, I was like, my mind exploded. That's all I wanted to do. I did that constantly. Then as I got older, I stopped hanging out with my cousin as much, and I had fighting games still. I still kept them. One of my favorite things to do, and that is to this day, is labbing combos. So I remember I ended up buying a PlayStation 1 eventually, because it was I think the PlayStation 3 was just about to come out. So I went and just bought like the PlayStation Slim, the really, really tiny one.
Mhm.
And I remember I just bought Tekken 3. It was like $10 at GameStop at the time. Like Tekken 3 now is like $300 or something ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
I could be wrong about that.
No.
is it
no,
because
like,
I'm gonna go sell my copy of Tekken 3?
Yeah, it could be less than that. Yeah, this could be less than that. I have Tekken 3 in my closet right over here. But I just know those games are super expensive now.
yeah.
So like I remember just labbing there and labbing combos in Tekken. I had no one that was gonna face me in Tekken 3. Like I think Tekken 4 was already out, by the way. But I just love labbing combos, seeing what worked and what didn't. So I kept on playing there, and then I started getting my friends as I got older, and that's when I got into Smash Bros. Smash Bros was a huge part of my childhood. I don't know if you remember X-Men Next Dimension. Which
I know. So the thing is I know of it, but I never had anybody that played it, and I only know of it like tangentially through the X-Men PS1 games.
mm-hmm.
I'm in the same boat.
It's seriously one of the worst fighting games that's ever created. But as a kid, it was one of the
Nice.
best fighting games ever. Like same thing with Bloody Roar. It's another like there was this group of friends I had, specifically one that we'd always play, but we had a few other ones that would join us. There was this like fighting games was just like the competitive nature, and me and my one friend were like on equal levels. Like he'd win a match, I'd win a match, he'd win a match, and that just kept me going. Some of my favorite memories were playing those games with him. And as I've gotten older, there was a time that kind of stopped, but everyone stopped because it was like the dark ages
Yes.
of fighting games. You know what I mean? Like before Street Fighter 4 came out.
Mhm.
So there's nothing good coming out. I remember going to the store trying to find, or like GameStop trying to find a fighting game, and I ended up walking out there with like Rumble Roses because I was that desperate to try something new. You guys both know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Desperate I was
yeah.
to find something new. And that was horrible. I think that's also why, side note, I wanted to make a video on this, why sports games kind of popped off during that time. Because that's right when it happened. Madden, the show. That's when all of the sports games exploded because fighting games just plummeted. Anyway, as I got older, I kept on playing Smash. Smash was the one game that got me really hyped. I started going to like local tournaments, and got my ass handed to me. And then pretty much I only would buy games at release, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all these games I'd buy at release, play for a couple weeks, months, maybe with a couple friends online. Then we just stopped playing. I was in that kind of boat. Wasn't until Smash 4 finally came out, and near the end there, I found there was a local, and there were some real players there. It wasn't just like the local friendlies list. There were some like people who were going to like actual tournaments around the nation. So I was like, I want to be as good as that guy. That's how it started with me. Started hosting tournaments there. That didn't work out. And right around this time is when Ultimate was on its way out and Injustice 2 was getting released. I've never been more hyped for a video game since Injustice 2. To this day, I don't think there's a game that got me more hyped than Injustice 2.
You want to know what game got me
Just
hyped?
wait for Injustice 3.
Yeah, maybe in Tomb Raider 2 may have got me just as hyped, but Injustice, yeah, dude, I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan. Injustice 2, like I was already looking for locals beforehand. I found a group of people. I still message them to this day. They're all good people. I just the game died off right when MK11 came out because all those guys started playing MK11 and they stopped playing that and just moved on to like PUBG and Fortnite. So there's just no one to play with, and I've kind of been in this like, what am I gonna play? But I just didn't. I feel the need to play fighting games. Like I don't know what it is. Like I still have that love of labbing combos and just learning stuff. I get like when you buy a game, you feel like you need to get its worth out.
Mhm.
Me labbing combos, don't even have to face a single person. If I have enough time in the game labbing combos, learning the character, and I feel like I've done enough with the character, having fun learning that character, I get the money worth out of it. So when a lot of people buy a game, they feel it's not worth it because it's a huge lot of money and you're just going to lose right away.
Mhm.
I will never see it that way. I will always there's single player modes that you can play. I can lab till my heart's content. Like I still to this day lab Injustice. Like I'll jump in with a new character and try to learn everything about him.
Like
Uh,
at your core, you're just kind of a lab monster, huh?
Yes. Also, I need to say I'm trash. I'm no pro player. I'll beat the average Joe. Like that's not a
Sure.
problem. But like when it comes to tournaments, like maybe Injustice is the one that I can hold my own. Like if I go up against Sonic Fox, they're gonna kick my ass. But like if I'm playing in like a general tournament, I'll hold my own. I'll probably get bopped down to losers, but I won't go there quick.
yeah. Um, I would say honestly, I have a couple of theories on this, and I
Sure.
think I think it's because you come from the era before online games. That's why I think personally it sounds to me like when I was a kid, right? The only like my brother, I would play my brother in Tekken Tag 1. And the
Hmm.
only way he told me he used to play with like his friends every Friday or something like that and they play, loser passes or whatever.
Hmm.
And he said to me, the only way you're ever going to get good at this game is if you learn how to play kind of everyone. And in a way, that's how like he was really telling me this is how you lab things in like
Hmm.
kind of a very old school way. So I would sit there, I would get home from school, I'd go straight into training mode in Tekken Tag 1, and I'd start trying to learn everybody's moves and, practicing and working things out, how to do things. So eventually, when there was always preparing for when I was going to play my brother again. And that
Hmm.
was that was kind of the driving force behind, for me, uh always being in the lab and getting your worth out of a fighting game was at some point you're gonna fight one of your friends, um and I can say the other thing too is when I was a kid it really started when my brother came up to me and he's like, pick a game and I'll beat you, pick your favorite game and I'll beat you at it, right? This is what he said to me. And so I picked up Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Sega Genesis, like the
Hmm.
fighting game. I don't know if you ever played it.
Oh dear.
I know I have. I just can't. I couldn't tell you who Goldar is obviously on the team.
He's on.
He's one of the
He's
characters.
yes, he's one of the characters.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I would play that game. I thought I was really good at it. I could play. I would go into the options and I would take the stars and I would notch them up. Like I'd start at 1, I'd go to 2, and I'd keep beating the arcade mode until I got to
Hmm.
10. And I beat it on all the stars. I beat it, and I thought I was like really good at the game. And then my brother like came in and he started like doing like moves I didn't know existed in the game. And like he had never played it before. So there was that's where it started. Was sort of that kind of looming like there's someone's gonna come and try to my brother's gonna come and try to beat me, so I gotta be ready for it. Um, and I've always had a kind of had this theory because of it that a lot of fighting game players grew up with competitive siblings or friends that kind of drove them to get better, and maybe that's just sort of me projecting my own kind of past, but I
Hmm.
I kind of I don't know if you had like a similar experience, Quintessence.
I had a slightly similar experience, but it was mostly at the arcades with Street Fighter 2.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And like it was the Wild West. Like you'd put your money down, you'd hope somebody didn't take it, and then you'd get your turn, and you'd play until you lost. and there'd be a line of like 10 plus people back of the line when you lost. So you had to just keep grinding at it to get anywhere. Like I didn't have too many options at home. Like one of my first real in quote options was um the jankness of Mugen, which
Oh
is
wow.
like literally a make your own fighter.
Yep.
Those are some of the most fun I've ever had were fan made games, man. I'm not even lying.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where I actually learned about the existence of like the SNK characters and stuff, because I'd see like this chick with a cool dagger. I'm like, where the hell's she from? And I'm like, oh, Sham Show. That's awesome. I'd learn about Sham Show and all that stuff.
Uh,
And then when I first started trying to get like competitive was actually Dead or Alive 2, oddly.
That's a great game though. Like I loved it
It
personally. I love Dead or Alive too.
some just really clicked with me in Dead or Alive 2 for some reason. I think it was like how interesting like the parry system was combined with like how wild the combos were. It really just like clicked with me.
I don't remember for sure, but DOA is more Virtua Fighter-y than it is Tekken, right? Like I've played very little DOA, and I've watched DOA for other reasons, but I've never really. I know I've played it, but I can't remember how it's played. It's more like Virtua Fighter. I'm almost positive because
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
more Virtua
yeah.
Fighter-y, but it's a lot more simplistic
Yeah.
than Virtua Fighter.
That's
And
why
it's a lot more explosive than Virtua Fighter 2 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could just get like one touched and it's
hate
over.
It's one of
Yeah.
my least favorite things in all fighting games are TODs. Like it's not fun. I just
Yeah,
made a
it was
video about that today. Actually, I made a new name for it. It's called playing solitaire.
oof. Yeah,
I hate it.
yeah,
I hate it so much. I like people who like enjoy games like that. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun
yeah.
because yes, oh, it's so impressive that you're able to find an exploit in the game where your opponent doesn't get to do anything. Like it's not.
Golf
Yeah,
clap.
it's
Fantastic.
great.
You outplayed me. I just set down my controller, by the way.
I said that in the video.
But yeah, after DOA it was just like Tekken. Tekken 7
yeah.
and Tekken Tag 1 were the
I
big
really want
ones.
a Tekken Tag 3.
Tech
But I definitely have like Mugen to thank for like my wide immersion in fighting games, because it was kind of like an entry to like learn about a bunch of other fighting games by having people build characters just for this little custom engine.
You know who
Mhm.
else kind of got there? Was really big into Mugen was August.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. He would build his own Mugen like games basically, and
Yeah.
like on his laptop, and that's like other than playing Street Fighter 2, that's one of related to fighting games. August is like one of the other co-hosts of the show. He's
Sure.
actually he's at Drill. He's a part of the Coast Guard. So
Like,
basically he's um basically the first of the month where we always try to get a guest onto the show, and
mhm.
so when he's not here, that's when we have you come on or
Yeah,
something like
I'm
that.
here.
Yeah, and so he's like a childhood friend. Like I remember meeting him in grade school. But anyway, like he was like one of the other people that I knew at my school that was into fighting games, and so he's kind of here, uh, helping us with the podcast. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, so I guess we can move on to the next question. Is
for
I
sure.
I know you had mentioned that you had done stand-up comedy and improv in the past. Do
Mhm.
you think that this experience is essential to gaining skills to being an online personality, the online personality that you are?
It definitely helped. I don't think it's a requirement though. Um, I was never the funny kid, if that makes any sense. I am obsessed with laughter and humor. I was the kid that always had Comedy Central on. Like I was watching Whose Line Is It Anyway. I would stay up to watch like SNL with my dad. I love laughing. I
Mhm.
love making people laugh, and I love seeing people laugh. And anything that is funny or humorous is to me the most pure thing ever. Like I know I'm not trying to be corny or anything, but it's true. Like uh, nothing is more real than when you get a real laugh out of somebody. You know
It's
what I
not
mean?
corny, it's wholesome.
Yeah, it's
That's
like I
wholesome, yeah.
love that so much. So like was not a depressed kid. I love to make sure I get this out there. I wasn't one of those kids who had a very bad childhood. I was extremely fortunate. Like I was very lucky. So when I told my parents I was gonna start doing stand up, they're like, okay. Kind of looked at me like, what's wrong? And
Okay.
What's going
so
on?
I started my first stand up at like a local a local coffee shop was my first stand up. I blanked after I did my first joke, no laughed, and then I forgot the rest of my material. I walked off stage.
Oh
It
no.
was that, and I told myself never doing this again. And that was like a dream of mine. I wanted to be on SNL. I wanted to be on Comedy Central. I went home that night and probably watching a Bill Burr special.
Mhm.
Right, like I just love comedy. So I ended up stopping, and then life got in the way, and I ended up starting to work on cruise ships. My whole family has been in like the tourism and travel industry my entire life, so going into cruise ships just kind of made sense. When I worked on there, I funny enough became really good friends with a comedian. His name is Sarge Pickman. He's a comedian to this day. He lives down in Florida. He's a Jewish comedian, hilarious, and he kind of guided me. He started telling me, try this, do that, do this. And he started giving me pointers and stuff. He told me how like a joke is formatted and all that kind of stuff. And that was a huge part of it. The thing is, when you worked on cruise ships, you couldn't be really racy. You had to be like, if
Super
you
clean.
did a joke, it needed to be clean as possible, which
Mm.
it's like, take my wife, please. Like it's that kind of stuff. It's like, ugh.
Half
It's
the
not,
fun.
yeah, it's not fun at all.
Mhm.
In fact, I got in trouble a few times for like saying certain jokes.
That weren't that
Like,
bad. Like,
that weren't bad at all. I
what
still-
did Will Smith was Will
Listen, they
Smith
weren't
there?
Mr. Clean, all right?
oh, I'm not getting on that topic. But
Why not? It's a
no,
fun one.
not that bad. I wouldn't go that. Me personally, I've also learned not to go far. I'm a relatively clean comedian when I do stand up.
Mhm.
Like compared to like my local scene where people drop the F bomb and talk about sex constantly, I'm relatively clean. I usually talk about like, if someone needed a family friendly person, I probably would be one of the first people they would pick. That is true. Now I can be raunchy if I need to be, but I'd rather be raunchy with my friends and goofing off like because it's more fun. Like when I'm trying to perform, to me, it's cheating to use all that kind of stuff, to be raunchy and swearing and all that kind of stuff. It's kind
Sure.
of cheating, in my opinion. Like you use it as a punchline instead of trying to actually make a full joke. So that's a going into the dynamics of what stand up is. But when I got home from working on cruise ships, I started just going to local scenes, and I was traveling all around upstate New York, not upstate New York, New York, Pennsylvania. I was going everywhere. I think I like made a total of like $3,000 over like 2 years is doing stand up, getting like paid here and there. And to me, that like I've made it, like you know what I mean. Like that doesn't even cover rent for 2 months for me. Like, but that little bit was enough to keep me going, and it was that when the pandemic hit,
Uh-huh.
I had nowhere to go. Like they were doing open mics over Zoom, which
That
Ew,
sounds strange.
I was out of it.
Yeah.
No
that
thanks.
sounds
So
bad.
that's when I started to stream. I just jumped online and I started streaming. I remember like streaming just some games I wanted to play, and people started jumping in my chat, and I would use the same tactics and jokes that I've used for years, and I've slowly formatted those jokes into kind of comedy or video game related and put them to stream, and it has helped. It's definitely has helped.
Yeah.
Hope that wasn't too long
No,
winded.
not at all.
Nope, it was
It was
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah.
Just as long-winded as the question.
Yeah.
Eh,
What was that supposed to be?
I thought it was a good
I'm just
question.
poking a little fun. No, it's a good question. It's just your questions are very long.
Oh, we'll strap in, motherfucker.
Oh no.
So, uh, wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you ever do like any theater or anything like that? That were was
A A little when I was when I was younger, like in elementary school, in middle school, I did like drama club and choir and all that stuff. But when I got into high school, I actually, funny enough, I joined ROTC, like military stuff. And I
Mhm.
actually was like kind of like gung ho for joining the military until I pretty much got to my senior year. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. So like my life changed drastically during there, and then but during that whole time, like I said, I've always just been obsessed with stand up. I love hearing people laugh. Like I don't know what it is. I also been told my laugh is a bit of a very hearty cackle. I've been told my laugh can be
Hearty
kind of
cackle.
because if you get me going, I can't hold it. Like if you start getting me to laugh, I won't hold back. I let it all out. I want to make sure you know that whatever you did or said made me happy. So
Okay.
That's
I
good.
wish more people did. People that say, "Oh, that's really funny," and not laugh. I want to choke you. Like,
LOL.
yeah, that drives me up a wall. Like, I'm like, oh,
Um,
show reaction to your humor.
all right. Well, speaking of lengthy questions, as someone who works a full-time job and as prolific as you are, always on social media on the social media hustle, do you feel like there are any tips for full-time jobbers wanting to get into the TikTok game? And what are some keys to be successful in social media currently?
Um,
Talk on that,
the
Quintessence.
the big one right off the
Oh,
bat is like there's something I had to come to terms with is you're gonna want it if you want to do what I'm doing. There's a drive behind me right now. Like it's not just because I want to make people laugh. That's part of it, of course, but it's a whole package. There's a ton of different reasons why I'm doing this. And I've been going full force with it for a while. If you don't have the drive to do it, you may want to consider just making it an actual hobby. And I know it sounds really harsh, but it's kind of true. Um, like I actually did the math. On an average night, I have around 4 hours of free time from getting home from work before I go to bed. And within those 4 hours is where I get everything done.
Yep.
Like that includes making lunch for the next day, going to the bathroom, taking a shower from work, filming, editing, writing script, organizing events, setting up streams, streaming. It's a lot. There's days where I'll get like a phone call from a friend of mine, like, "Do you want to go out tonight?" And I just look at my computer and look at the phone. I'm like, "Sorry, can't."
Yeah.
Like I'm dedicated to it, and I think I'm very lucky because most of my friends and everyone knows what's going on. Like they're quite aware that I'm having success, so they're like, okay, we'll let Phil slide. When you're famous, you better start coming out to dinner with us again. Um, like it,
don't forget us.
there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make, and if you can't do that, you're gonna dwell on that. Um, I know quite a few people that I have already come and gone. That like try to do the grind and they put like one video out a week and they just don't understand why they're not having success. And I'm like, because you need to times that by 14
Yeah.
minimum to even like to get where you need to be, and it's
Pound
very
that
stressful.
pavement.
Yeah, like when they say grind, they're not joking. Like it's full fledged, and I have had minor success, and that's the sad thing that people don't realize. I've only had minor success. Like I am not that person that got like the 4 or 5 videos over 1 million hits where I'm already at 100,000 followers. I'm at like 36 right now, 36,000, which I know is still awesome. I'm super
Yeah.
happy I got there. But I have a very long way to go, and
Yeah.
but I'm dedicated. I'm ready to go full in at this. If you don't have the drive, this is going to be uh very stressful for you. So like that's the first thing. If you don't have the drive, don't do this. That's one huge thing I would recommend is the drive. The other one is make sure you're enjoying it. Like I can't tell you how many times I hear people like I hate editing videos. Then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Like I love hitting double clicking my editor to open it up. Every time I see the editor open up, I kind of smile. Like I am excited to do it. I love putting my phone in the little cradle so it locks on and like I hit this record button. I love every little step of this. Like this is the one pastime I have and I love every second of it. I love learning stuff about social media. Like a couple months ago, like there was the second part of the Tiger King documentary, right? Came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, Tiger King Part 2, yay!" And like I saw that, and my brain immediately went, "Oh, I should make a video about this." I got all excited. I immediately ran into like my little thinking room I have in my apartment, and just like sat there with my pad and like brainstormed a couple ideas. Thought of a nice little joke to throw in there. Recorded, had it out the next day. Like I loved every single step from originally thinking of it. Like I had a piece of pizza in my hand as I was walking in with the pen in the other. Like I love every step of it. If you don't enjoy it and you're finding certain parts of it that you don't like, that's gonna be a huge problem for you too. And like that goes for every walk of life, not just for social media. Like if you're doing something, don't do something you don't want to do, man. Like doesn't sound fun at all. It's not enjoyable. You're just gonna hate it more. Make
I,
sure you enjoy the process.
Yeah, it's all about passion.
Mhm.
um,
Also,
I,
asking questions. That's another big one. Just ask as many questions as you can. If you don't know the answer to something, Google. Don't be like I've also learned. I've asked other famous TikTokers. I'm not going to say who, but there are people who have blue check marks that I straight up messaged and like, "Can you help me with something?" And they responded. So I'm just saying, don't be scared to ask questions.
yeah, I
Wow.
think like when you literally, I think you're the only person I've ever actually asked their
Mhm,
opinion of.
mhm,
Um, but I can say for me, I didn't, from my experience, I didn't actually initially enjoy editing. But then when I realized I make stuff that I want to make, it's like I have no problem spending 4 or 5 hours on like a 30-second video. I don't care
mhm,
as long as it's something that I want at the end of the
mhm.
whatever time it is. And I think the thing that's most rewarding about it is when you're changing things slightly, and then you can kind of see like, oh yeah, my original videos were terrible, but now these are like slightly better, you know. And
Mhm.
you know, I'd love seeing, like, just like in fighting games, you see like the gradual improvement of everything, and
Mhm.
literally the most it's a really rewarding process if it's something.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think I didn't actually mention it to you, but I posted it in my Discord. I wonder if anyone's answered it yet, but I'm debating about going back. Like if you see behind me, this is my room. Like
Hmm.
my bed's right over there. This was where I did all my initial recording. Everything was inside my room because I had a roommate at the time and I didn't want to like take up his space. And since he's moved out, he's been gone for like 6 months already, 7 months. So his room is a full fledged studio now. I have another computer in there. I got like cameras, lighting,
Hmm.
like a
Damn,
bunch
that's
of
nice.
art, and I have every full fledged studio in there now for all of my recording. And in this room, to be honest, I had zero quality or zero effort into making any of those videos. Like I'd be lucky if you see this light right here.
Hmm.
That's the light. You'd be lucky if I turned that on for the videos. Like, so like I kind of want to go back to some of my older videos and put the new coat of paint on.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I would love to like do it before, like and duet them, so you can see the before and after versions of them. I think that'd be really cool, and I kind of want to do that. But
That sounds like a
I'm
really neat idea.
I want to like I asked my Discord about it earlier today and see what their opinion on it is because like it is kind of cheating. I'm rehashing old content, and I heard that's like it's kind of a no in the TikTok verse. But I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I haven't made a decision yet.
I think
Are you really rehashing it though?
no. Listen,
It's
I've
gonna be the same exact jokes, like word for word from what I said, except if there was like a clear mistake, I'm gonna obviously fix it. But
right.
like, which there was quite a few I said in the past. Like, I remember I made a comment once about like something that's clearly wrong. I think I said that Tekken was like the like cheapest fighting game that you could buy or something in a video, and it was like, oh, that's changed quite a bit.
Well, to be
Oh no, he
fair,
doesn't know about DLC.
at one time Tekken was like $5, so
Yeah,
it's not like
that's true.
Yeah.
you're like, at times, man, you're not wrong about things. And
Yeah.
also, we don't remember details of like what was going on at the time. You know, you, like, kind of give yourself a bit of a break on that. But
I'm
I will say that in terms of rehashing things, and of course Gary V is very completely fine with rehashing things, and if he's gonna do it, you know, like full no shame man that he is, I really kind of don't think you should worry about. Like, just do whatever the fuck you want. Don't.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what other
If
people
I
think?
do it, I would do like one video at a time. So like I'll all my videos like when I moved into the new studio around September last year, so I've had quite a while to um of new content. And also you can see my numbers have just gone better with the better quality, right? Like
Mhm.
I haven't had a video that's gone under like 1,000 in a couple months, which is
Mhm.
like a small little thing that I'm very happy about. Also, I found it. That's another thing I'll tell you after. I don't want to give all my trade secrets
Okay.
away. I think I
Yeah.
figured. Yeah, I'll
Absolutely.
tell you after this.
Yeah.
But uh, before that, when I was doing everything in this room with the lights off and I didn't know hashtags and I was just like doing saying weird stuff, like the views would like some days would do great because of the spontaneity, or the other ones would just do horrible because I just didn't know what I was doing. So like if I can go back and just put a new coat of paint on it, maybe like change a little bit of the verbiage and just repost it, I think there may be a chance they could do better. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll do one at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe every Sunday I'll
Test the
post a new.
waters a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I suppose, not I don't suppose, with fighting games being so competitive, I would assume that most only respect the crack of the whip. You know what I mean? Uh, is it difficult navigating social media around fighting games? And what are some of the pains that come with being a fighting game personality?
Okay, so this
Go
I've
ahead.
openly said this countless times.
Go on.
I think the fighting game community content creation side is incredibly lazy. I've been saying this extremely. Everyone's trying to imitate Max because what Max does works.
For Max,
The
yeah.
issue for Max, Sajam's another one. Everyone kind of copies Sajam. You can just look at the whole entire Pandal Global crew. They all do the same exact thing. I understand they may be under contract to do the same thing, but as a whole, if you look at the greater scope of the FGC, like in what content creation, like it's the same topics over and over and over and over again. Let's do a live reaction of this character being released, of what's happening with the next update. Let's
Mhm.
do a live reaction of this. Okay, well let's talk about the skill gap in getting people, the trouble we get people into. This is the why. It's the same 5 arguments over and over and over. I'm just sick of hearing it.
Mhm.
I swear to God, if I hear one more person say that there's a difficulty getting people into the fighting game community because of the skill ceiling, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm so sick of hearing that
I,
argument, or not even
Very
argument. The statement.
understandable.
It happens. It's I'm not saying that it's bad content, and I need to get that across because it works. Clearly, has been proven to work.
Mhm.
The issue is there's no one's taking chances, and like a great example of this is, I know it sounds it's lame because it's, you think about what it is. It's super simple. Sajam Will It Kills is like the most interesting and new thing we've seen in the fighting game community in years. In like all it is you just watch clips and you guess. That's all it is. There's nothing new or creative about it. I'm not saying I'm the answer, because like I'm essentially what like Mike Keefe does. I do sketches and like have different opinions on stuff.
Mhm.
And like there's very few people that do that. So I'm trying to be a little more creative. But like there are Pokemon YouTubers that will put 5 videos out a day about a new concept within the fighting game, within the Pokemon community. But we can't put new content out ever. Like in the Pokemon community, as an example for the YouTubers, after one Pokemon YouTuber posts a video, every other YouTuber chimes in and does the same exact video. But
Mhm.
it's a brand new concept. In the fighting game community, it's like whatever shows up on Twitter that day, they make a video about that, and then they just forget about what happened. Even though what happened on Twitter that day happened 4 years ago, because that video has already been done. There's nothing new to talk about, and it's really frustrating. Like, mark my words, the free to play model is going to be beaten down with a stick. That's all anyone's going to talk about for the next year. I guarantee it. I will put money on it that everyone's going to talk about the free to play model. They're going to beat that thing down where no one's going to want to hear about it anymore. Max already started talking about it. Say Jam will be next. Jay Uno will be after that, and then All Panda will do it. And then we're gonna be everyone's gonna have the same exact opinion because it's the same exact thing over and over with all these content creators. And I'm not saying they don't have their own unique opinions because they all do, but they're all saying the same thing.
That's funny because I say the same thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just being honest. It's exactly what it is.
No, I mean,
you know what, guys? We need something new. A tier list video.
Exactly. And even with that's why tier lists, actually, funny enough, is why they succeed so well because every single tier list is different.
Yeah,
that is why people eat them up, is because you're hoping your character's on that is higher on the list, and it's different. That's why tier lists are so successful within the fighting game community.
No, I hope my character's lower so it stays under the radar.
Yeah, I'm a mid-tier player for the most part. So.
Man, that's like look, Justin Wong intentionally fucks with people with his tier lists like all the time.
See, that is hilarious. I love that. And like, I'm not using him as a good example, but like what LTG was doing was unique and different. Now, what he was doing was wrong. He's a dick, but like what he was doing was at least something creative. He just went too far with it. You know what I mean?
I respect him for someone so willing to not care about what people think like he does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've also heard that that's just really who he is. So
I've heard it's all an act.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. Like I think it's really a part of him because otherwise it wouldn't be authentic. But at the same time, maybe it's like a magnified version of who LTG is. But I don't know. You know,
he doesn't even play the low tiers anymore.
No, he was never playing the low tiers to begin with.
He did a little bit, all right, a little. I'll give him a little credit.
And when it comes to navigating the fighting game community, it is a community that's pretty confident with when they say something, they die by it. So if someone has an opinion in this community, they stick by it no matter what, even if they could be wrong, which is I've definitely seen. And there are some people who will definitely eat their words. I'm like, I was wrong, but for the most part, a lot of people just like, I don't want to say navigating wrong, but I definitely have met people that like their way they think is the best way of doing something, whatever the thing is, and when you tell them, well, have you thought about, they're like, no, I know what's best. I'm like, okay.
It's a very opinionated.
Yeah, very much so.
Egocentric type thing.
I'll die on this hill.
Yes, very much so. Like I've definitely excuse me. I've like learned, especially because I like of like the weird comments I get in my videos or like the death threats or whatever. Like I just learned to just not acknowledge it. So when someone has like a pretty risque opinion or whatever, I just learned it's best not to provoke it and just move away from it.
Yeah,
you're not going to change someone's opinion in this community, so I just let them have their opinion and then just have mine elsewhere. It's as simple as that.
And I suppose like, do you have some of the cliches of, hey man, I want to play you in this game, I want to beat your ass? Like, is that I that is like a thing that exists in any kind of like competitive, like elitist sort of, you know, situation.
My grandma plays better than you.
Like I can't, like even on, you know, my YouTube channel, I've gotten like your trash comments like every once in a while, and you know, just stuff like that where, I mean, hey, maybe they're not wrong, but still, like, come on, like, at least get a little more creative with your insults. Like,
still hurts a little bit.
Started, yes, I got a ton of it, not as much anymore. I think I told you earlier, immediately when someone says, I'd play games with you, and I'm like, great, join my server. There's always people looking for people to play. Like, that's something I do now. I just mean, like, join my server. There's always people looking, join my Discord, join my Discord, join my Discord. Like, that's just my answer now, because it's true. I always got someone that, like, there's always one person that's willing to play some weird game. Like, there was someone a couple weeks ago wanted to play, like, Injustice Mobile. I'm like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, man. There has to be at least one person
still alive.
Funny enough, it does numbers still too.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
What?
But when it comes to getting those weird like requests, I not as much anymore, because I think people realize that I'm just a goofball I'm not really a player because like the backlog. I know you have a bunch of
Mhm.
gameplay like videos. They're immediately thinking, "Oh, I can beat this guy," but I very rarely, if ever, even show that I'm playing a video game. Like,
That is true,
so it's
yeah.
a little bit different, in, at least in my neck of the woods. I'm more of a like I like to say I'm a sketch comedian than I am a fighting game player. I threw the fact I'm going to be a pro player out a long time ago, like a long time ago.
Um, and you know, like the time, like there's a fine line between like if you want to be good at a fighting game or you want to work on your social media. Like there's like as I've said before, fighting games M's a full-time job, and I really think that one thing that makes it difficult for someone to kind of be good at social media is they don't like I said, like you take the time to brainstorm, whereas sometimes people are just like, I gotta put out content no matter what. Like I know I do that sometimes, and I've
I
had a difficult time.
personally love that attitude though. Like I would like when I hire someone now, like if I have someone help me with something, like if I'm looking for an artist or something, I would rather get the person that I gotta put someone out than someone who says like I'll get something out eventually. It doesn't matter. Because that attitude means they're lackadaisical, they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
However, the person that I gotta put something out, if you can help guide that person, I would hire that person a million times out of anyone else because they want to work, they just don't know how to channel it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
those people are the most likely to get burnout. However, like I said, if you guide them and they see the like rewards for their success, they're more willing to stay around and actually be successful.
Um, I don't know if you've ever heard of this podcast before. Do you know like Wooly from the Best Friends and like
Wooly
Yep,
versus?
yep, Wooly versus,
Of
yeah.
course, I
Wooly
know
Madden.
Wooly.
I
Yeah.
I'm like I'm also a huge Super Best Friends fan from
Mhm.
like when they were on Machinima. Like when they started
Yeah.
back way back then, and like at the time I was still in the idea of like nobody was like talking about these stupid PS2 games that I played as a kid, which is
Mhm.
why like I have some of the gameplay now like of I don't know of Final Fight Revenge that nobody gives a shit about, where like it's fine. I just love I'm waiting for someone to be like, wow, that's really weird, and I'm like, yeah, it fucking is. And I just love that aspect of games. But anyway, he has a podcast called uh Bully Figures It Out, and he hasn't made a podcast in a while, but he has like I think around like 10 or more episodes of, and it's actually based on content creation.
Mhm.
And so um I would listen to that, and what I learned from that is like, how do you know something's gonna work? Well, you don't. You gotta make the thing, and that's
Yeah.
ultimately where everything starts. Is you kind of gotta. It's like fighting games. It's like you don't know how to deal with something because you don't have the data, right? You gotta be
Mhm.
able to put the work in. You know, at least tweak things, try things out, and then eventually you're gonna figure out what exactly works and what doesn't work. So essentially what I'm trying to say is with content creation, you got to do the thing. You can't just think
Yeah.
about it.
Also, the more you do it, like the better you're gonna get at it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's something I did it a couple of weeks ago. Like I used to say like I have like an intro for all of my videos. I used to say like part 5, part 6, part 7.
Hmm.
I just stopped saying the part. You know what I mean? I know that's so menial, but like I still the word part 5 is still gonna be in text. So you know it's a different part. But I just saved so many extra seconds, so like a second or two by not saying that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that gives me more space for the video. I learned another thing like a couple months ago. Like I can like pretty much not move and just flip the camera for certain videos and just put on a hoodie, so I don't have to move my spot at all when I'm recording,
Oh, like
which makes it yeah,
when you
like
have the other
small little
fills.
things you just realize like why don't I just do that? Like just learn things the more you do it, and man, you can take advantage of it by the more you do it, the more you learn. And
Yeah.
like I said, the people that like I got to put something out. I like I want to pick all of those kids up and to sit them down in a class and be like, "This is what you do." Here, and
Yeah.
let me just point you in the right direction. And then don't get me wrong, there's gonna be a couple of the kids that run into the bathroom when everyone leaves the class.
Yeah.
But the ones that those are the ones you want by your side because they're gonna be hard workers. I love hard workers, and that's something that Burnout is a real thing. I know a lot of people get it. I have not got it yet, by the way. But I think the reason people don't get it is what we were talking about earlier. They're not enjoying what they're doing and they're not seeing the success.
Uh,
You can do this and not, if you can keep on doing this and not seeing success, you're going to burn out. But if you keep on doing it and you're seeing some form of success, you're not, there's no reason to be burned out because you keep on getting like that copium for seeing your numbers go up or seeing more comments on your video or like more people sending like the laugh emoji or whatever. You get it as long as you have the success and you just need to be guided in the right direction.
You know who is like the poster boy for success? And I don't know if I'm sure you know this YouTuber, but you know the completionist?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
There's
That
people
dude,
that don't know the completionist?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what
Gerard,
people know.
yeah.
Gerard, okay, so the completionist, that dude, it has to be one of the hardest working people in YouTube. Like, with everything that guy, I can't even believe that he works for G4, like on the side. When he picked up that job, I was like, how the fuck?
Yeah,
already,
how?
how?
Like, how is he
and-
doing it?
How'd you add extra hours to the day? Let me know.
he legit, like, just looking at that guy, how he is like always fully beating video games and also writing and working with his team over the completionist, and then also going over to G4 doing all that writing and, you know, working with that team or whatever. It kind of blows my mind. But I mean, to me, it's like whenever I think, oh man, I'm like really like I'm feeling kind of burned out. I'm like, and I think of that guy, and I'm like, no, I don't have it that bad at all. Um, and like especially
That's exactly how I feel.
yeah,
Like 100%. Sorry to interrupt you there,
No,
but
it's
like
fine.
I actually have an example. Like I wrote down like one of my work days the other day to give an example of somebody who said that like when do I have time? I wrote down when I have time. That's why I said earlier I have like somewhere around 4 hours every day.
Yeah.
Like that's all I get. Like I don't have that much time to do stuff. You know what I mean? I showed him this is what I do, and I'm able to put 3 videos out a day, 2 to 3 YouTube videos out a week.
Mhm.
I'm constantly posting on Twitter and Instagram, and I also do podcasts and still learn to play the games I love.
Yep.
The only reason you're not doing it is because you don't have that drive to do it.
Or maybe you have a girlfriend. I don't know.
That could be it too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the last 2 girlfriends I've had, they were not down with for that.
No, dude, the people
down at all.
do not like.
Listen, I can pencil you in for about 30 minutes every other day.
Oh.
Is that gonna work?
There was one time one of my exes messaged me. It's like, "Are you doing anything today?" I'm like, "I got this, and this. However, I do have when I'm done, I'm done. I don't have anything going on after that." She's like, "Do you mind if I come over?" I'm like, "Just as long as you're chilling and you don't get in the way, I'm totally fine with it. Just know that I'm gonna be working my butt off." She's like, "Yeah, that's totally fine." Not 10 minutes into her getting here, she's like, she walks in as I'm streaming. I don't know if it was so uncomfortable because I said I'm streaming right now.
Mhm.
I don't need all people in my chat. I'm like, ooh, Phil, who's the girl?
Mhm.
So she walks in and she's like, "Do you want anything to eat?" And I'm like, really?
Oh boy.
And then that didn't end well.
Of course not.
About like a week later, I think we actually broke up. But I was trying to explain to her, like, she didn't see the monetary reason I was doing this because I wasn't making that much yet. Like, honestly, still what I put into this is about the same amount that I put into my actual full-time job. And not even remotely close to what I make here. Like, I don't make anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of depressing how much work I put in. But I get the reward of doing it. You know what I mean? In hopes that it's going to get to where I need to be. But dating and being a content creator, I just don't think it's in the cards for me, to be honest.
I honestly think that's why. I mean, that's honestly been a conflicting point. Is like I kind of want a girlfriend, but then I think about it and I'm like, yeah, but I really want to make stuff. So it's like,
the one exception is if you can have someone who's also in the same wavelength. Like one of the girls I dated was an OnlyFans model. Nothing raunchy, but she definitely showed like herself in bikinis and stuff like that. So like she understood, like she was totally on board.
Mhm.
My thing is I couldn't deal with certain problems with that, but she understood because she was working just as hard as I was. So when we did finally meet up with each other, it was easier for us to get together because we understood our lifestyles. Like we were
Yeah.
going to be working our butts off. She actually I think is a VTuber now.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So
So
pretty.
she
that
actually she stopped doing OnlyFans and now she's doing the opposite, kind of what I'm doing, which is I should give her a call.
she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful that,
that
she's
content
decided.
creator connection. You
That's
know?
the part that confuses me. There's no reason for her to be a VTuber. She looks
She's-
fine.
Yeah.
So, at least to me, she looked great. So
Technically, you could really let yourself go and be a VTuber.
yeah, maybe I should go a VTuber. Not worry
Yeah,
about
right.
it.
A lot of, honestly,
Excuse me as I
it
order
works
an
for a
Yeah, I'm
lot
not
of
going to
people.
shower this week. I'll just VTube.
No.
Like especially when you say like making content too, like some of my favorite videos are like Mega 64's Dragon Ball Z in 5 minutes. Like I don't know if you've ever
Mhm.
seen it, but
No.
if you ever want to like see somebody stretch a budget, it's incredible and pull off like it perfectly. Like it is amazing how what they can do with like $5 or something. And you should, if you love, do you like Dragon Ball Z at all? Are you like a fan?
I love Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you love it, you should go check. It's an old video, but go check out Dragon Ball Z in 5 minutes by Mega 64. That's Piccolo. I love Piccolo.
Hey,
My favorite Dragon Ball character.
They're giving him a new form.
I saw that. I hate it.
It looks weird. Yeah, they could. It could have been better.
Reaction. That's what they're looking for.
They made him yellow, for some reason.
Hate it.
Yeah. But moving on, I just like, I guess there's just a few things that I wanted to hit on before we start to wrap up here.
Sure.
What do you want to see in Street Fighter 6? Because I know the last time I talked to you, the only thing you had to talk about was web feet and how Ryu looked strange and all that stuff.
I want a time skip, a massive time skip. I've had this theory that I would love what they did with like Tekken 3, from like Tekken 2 to Tekken 3. I would love there to be a pretty big time skip where Ryu is an old timer and he is like training the new generation. Like he's the new sensei, and have like Luke, maybe Armika, Sakura, I don't know, some Ibuki, Karen, whoever, all these young kids being trained by Ryu, and just have everyone actually age up. Have Chun-Li aged up. Not her, Cammy. They're not allowed to be aged up.
They're not.
It's actually illegal.
They're not.
Yeah,
they gotta
like,
be sexy forever.
I would love to have all those characters aged up and have some of these, because that is something Street Fighter is actually known for, is introducing new characters that are pretty much the same characters as the other ones, but they're clone characters. I would love them to add a whole new generation of clone characters. Also, I'd love to see Sean back. That's another big one.
Me too, yeah.
Relento isn't one I want to see back. I want to see Dudley back. Those are two characters I really want to see back. I also want to see a big final showdown between Ryu and Akuma.
Yeah, something definitive.
I want a big finish where like Akuma comes back with a vengeance and is like, if you don't, this is your final chance, or I'm killing everyone. Like something like really intense in like a big final battle between them, where Akuma's the real final boss, like old school arcade ladder, where like Ryu's like chasing to stop Akuma from trying to hurt or kill people, and that's when you bump into all of the other players. Like that's when you bump into all the original eight, right?
Warriors, yeah.
So the original 8 from Street Fighter 2. Yeah. So Ryu like is confronted by Akuma in the very beginning, and that's when you bump into all these different characters. And at the end, Sagat goes full Vegeta and helps Ryu,
and then loses.
I would be okay with Sagat dying at the end there, with
and that pushes Ryu to win.
I would, because I think
Super
Sagat
Saiyan
would
4.
be. Sagat, I think, is a perfect character to go full heel and become a pseudo good guy, because he reminds me everything about Vegeta. He does. He reminds me so much of.
Sorry, he already is
Vegeta
kind of a pseudo. He already kind of is a pseudo good guy.
Yeah, and like I want him to go like full fledged and be the person that helped fight Ryu, because if it wasn't for the power of nothing sense or the Nohado, Sagat was gonna win. like the fight against Ryu in the beginning. That
Yeah.
scar on his chest wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for like the cheat codes that Ryu didn't even know he had. So I think it would be awesome to see that happen. Like go through the thing of bounce into everyone. Maybe have an end of Dalsim. He's just too old. He passes on. See Zangief be older and muscular, and he has a bunch of kids as a family now for some reason. Like all my stuff is of course story wise, gameplay wise. I honestly like the way Street Fighter V is. I'm gonna be completely honest. I like Street Fighter V. I liked 4 too. I like the one frame links, but Street Fighter V is really fun, and I think it's the current best game that's modern for teaching people how to play fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That when you think of rock paper scissors, it's got to be Street Fighter. I just think I'm not. I don't know how I feel about like V triggers. I don't know if I like them. I don't know if I've ever liked them.
I think they add spice. I
Yeah,
like it. They
I
have personality and individuality too.
I think
Yeah.
I agree with you on one thing. They should have just kept all of the special moves on the as not behind the V trigger wall. If they just did
Yes.
that, it would have been fine. I just
Yeah.
having special qualities added with the V trigger, awesome.
Mhm.
Having any type of inputs, bad. If they just switch that in the next game, I'd be 100% okay with that.
And I think that's the one thing that I really think that's the V trigger and then there like there's V never mind, there's like the V trigger and then there's like a sub V meter and it's like I just want that to use one, they could just have all that use one bar of you know EX meter, but I don't know.
I actually was a big fan of when they added the V shift.
Yeah.
I was very happy when they did that because that changed shit up a lot and it made it really sick. Like I actually want that to be on day one in Street Fighter 6. Now that I think about it, because I love dodge mechanics because they didn't give us a proper parry mechanic, which everyone wants. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, I don't want a parry mechanic. I'll die on this hill. Keep it in Street Fighter 3. All right, keep it in Third Strike. We don't need the parry system if we have all these other fun things. I don't know. That's just my opinion. We don't need it.
Yeah.
How else are we gonna have the Daigo moments?
We don't need the Daigo moments.
It's already happened. And actually
It's happened 19 times.
it has. Yeah.
Like
Justin
All
Wong
to Justin Wong.
recreates it every week, pretty much.
Justin literally just throws out supers to see if people can do it now.
Yeah.
And they do it.
And they do it,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm reliving this moment."
It happened at the
can't
very
believe
beginning
it.
of the year as well. That was like a big thing that happened like the very last week of the year last year. It was the recreation of the Daigo parry.
I want to say it's
Yeah.
happened like 2 other times since then too.
I'm pretty sure it's happened way more than
Yeah.
that.
No, he's made
Poor
a bunch
Justin.
of videos on it.
Yeah.
He's like, I wish people would stop Daigo parrying me. Was one of the
I know
videos.
Justin's editor, and his editor was telling me like, dude, like he just sends me when he gets parried now. So I know exactly what it is.
Totally
It
embrace
happens
it.
way more than you think.
Um,
But right now, like Justin just does it for fun. I think he's like, yeah, whatever, sure. This is good content. Full send.
I can't wait
Well,
until
I'm
they
sure it's
bring Sean back
fantastic.
and then do his basketball throw wrong.
Oh,
'Cause
I just want him back. Like he hasn't been in many games. Let's put it that way. It'll be nice to see him back again. T-Hawk is another one. I think I said him earlier, but T-Hawk would be nice to come back.
Yeah.
But Rolento and Dudley are like my go-tos. Those are the two I want the most back.
Relento's was really fun in Street Fighter 4.
I'm gonna be honest. I
Yeah.
played very little of him. He just looks cool. That's the reason I really want him. I like cool-looking characters.
You know what game you'll love then? You'll love a game called Final Fight Revenge. Relento's in that game, and boy, actually, come to think of it, I'm not even gonna lie to you. The way that those characters play currently in fighting games is a lot of the stuff is ripped from Final Fight Revenge.
Really?
Yeah. Which is kind of strange, but like Capcom has that way of doing like strange continuity like that. That's it.
I just have another one.
Yep.
It's kind of Capcom based. It's never gonna happen. I would love. Everyone complains about the arcade modes in most games, right? If
Yeah.
you wanted a nice single player content, the way you would do a single player mode for Street Fighter is make a beat 'em up.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, it would also be like it would connect with,
It would.
what is it? They called it Street Fighter 89 or something like that,
Yep.
which really became Final Fight.
If they did something where you still can do a normal arcade mode, but there's extra story where you would actually be like Ryu going into like beating up grunts or whatever. I think people would lose their minds if that was the story mode. They might as well hone into the fact that they already have one of the best beat 'em ups with Final Fight.
Yep.
They could do that and people would lose their minds if they wanted to go down that route.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not going
Hope
to.
you're
There's
listening
no
right
way
now,
they're going to do that,
Capcom.
but it'd be
I
awesome.
hope you're listening.
dude.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of my favorite parts of Tekken was
Tekken 3.
Tekken 3. But
That was
also
awesome.
Tekken 6.
Story mode.
Tekken 6 had this, like, brought it back, and that was
Yep.
fun as fuck. And
Yes.
that
You used to
had
cheese everyone, just grab them every single
yeah.
time. It was awesome.
Yeah, and it had online multiplayer too. So like you could have a friend come in, and then you could run through with it whichever character. It was I loved it, man. That was actually one of my favorite things that Tekken's done. I'd like to see Tekken Ball come back too, because that looks
Yeah.
wild.
I'm gonna let you know, to this day, whenever I see just a chicken,
Chicken.
I cannot stop thinking of from Tekken 3 when you eat the chicken, you hear chicken.
Yeah.
To this day, it's ingrained in my brain, chicken. And it's
Yeah.
still stuck in my head. Every time I still think of that to this day. But that's also how you unlock Dr. Boskovanovich.
Yeah. Yep. Dr. B.
It was the only way to get him, I believe, because you had to get to the final boss, and he was the final. What a weird character.
Dr. B coming back when?
That's one of my brother's favorite characters for Tekken 3. He liked Dr. B.
Dude, Gon was another awesome one. Gon was awesome. Like, that was such a fun character. Never coming back in the game again, but super fun.
Same with
Well,
Alex
either
or
will
Roger.
So,
Well, I understand why
Roger.
Roger didn't come back. I get that, because there was a video that went viral with some Aussie just going up to a kangaroo and punch him in the mouth. I get why that got taken. I don't get why Alex didn't come back. I think that would have been a very easy way to give Alex some love and just have just Alex. But they just didn't do it. That was super confusing to me.
I think another big reason was because PETA made a big stink about, because like they like to. I don't know if you're familiar with PETA, but PETA loves to use any kind of like animal violence and then just exploit the shit out of it. Just to make
so
a
they're
big
going to
stink.
exploit a dinosaur.
No, I think they
attacking you.
I think like with Roger was like something that they did, or maybe Panda or Kuma with a kind of. I think they did something about like Pokemon that was kind of similar, where they kind of like animals fighting each other. It's terrible, and
they've done a bunch of stuff with Pokemon.
Oh,
yeah,
even a whole game.
I think that's
a whole game.
Let's see. What else can I throw at you before we end here? So I just want to like get your feedback on TikTok stories, because I know we talked a little bit about it before the podcast.
Mhm.
What like it seems like TikTok is just, they're all over the place with some of their new decisions, and it's thrown off the algorithm, I think, quite a bit. In terms of like so what's getting views now? Is it my TikTok story, or is it my TikTok that I'm posting on my timeline?
I've seen both sides of it, right? So like I follow quite a few people. Like if you look through who I follow, you'd be like, why is Phil following those people? And it's because they know what they're doing. If you, outside of my friends and the FGC community, I follow other content creators that are very successful on TikTok because I emulate what they're doing. There are people that are successful that have already made stories that have defeated their best videos.
Wow.
Well put together videos. So there is something to it, but that could just be because they're famous. You know what I mean? That's a huge factor that a lot of people don't want to talk about. If they're famous, it helps. I personally, for what I do, stories aren't going to help me at all. Like if I am at a local and I think of a funny joke, that would be the time I'd use a story. But why would I do that when I can edit together a well put together video and then just post it to my regular timeline that's still getting the same amount of views regularly, or take a gamble on something that I don't know about? Doesn't make sense to me.
Not to mention, like, the idea that I think your stories can be just as long as a regular post, right? It could be like 3
Mhm.
minutes, I think. And you can't skip it to see what else is on there. So you have to sit there and watch it, which is annoying.
The big thing with stories also is they disappear. They're not going to be there forever. So like if you make a wonderful video and it posts, it's not staying there.
Yeah.
Like it's like that works for like Facebook stories and for Instagram stories, but it's or like even for Snapchat. But that's what we're trying to do here on TikTok. That's not exactly what it is. It's
Right.
like I don't think it helps the algorithm at all. And for the people that are doing it, you're essentially posting a video that's going to be gone at the end of the day. I just don't see this for what us TikTokers are trying to do. It doesn't like help you at all. Like all you're doing is just adding a video that is it gets views, it gets comments, it gets likes. But like I posted my first one, I can't watch that anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone. Like I can't even look it up anymore. So like it doesn't help you in the long run. That's all I'm gonna say. Because TikTok does this thing where if your video gets thrown out the FYP, it has like this decent, not decent, but like a weight system gets thrown on your video when it's
Mhm.
up there for too long. So it's so slowly like gets pulled down,
Yeah.
kind of similar to Reddit. So when you do that, every now and then they'll release one of the weights, and the video will go back up again, and it has a chance to get more views. Your story is just gone. Like you can't get more views, you can't get more followers, you can't get more likes. It's just don't as of right now. Maybe if you're like someone who's like I don't know, like a vlogger, maybe if
Yeah.
you want like a vlogger style, maybe that would work. But what I'm doing, what you're doing, what most of my group of friends are doing, stories do not help you.
Yeah. And then also the idea of adding 10-minute videos. I don't understand that either.
I think that's TikTok's way of saying, hey, if you have YouTube videos, you should turn them into TikTok format and post them here as well. That's what it is.
But
Like I have no other reason for I can't understand why anyone would watch a 10-minute video on TikTok. I
yeah.
I
Doesn't
don't
that
understand why
defeat
you'd
the
watch that.
purpose of TikTok?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. The reason I can't tell you the exact number, but the attention span of anyone in an average human is somewhere around 7 seconds for a video. Within 7 seconds, the person knows if they are going to continue watching that video or not, right? Or at least all the way to completion. That's why that new trend going around. People say that my videos are too long, so what I'm going to do for now,
Yep. It's
and then
really
it cuts to that's 7 seconds.
yeah.
So like that's what it is. Now going forward with that, the new videos that are coming out with these 10-minute, the chances of anyone watching a 10-minute video is astronomically low on an app that's supposed to be as quick as possible.
I can barely get people to watch a minute video.
Like I've learned my best videos are ones when I get to a joke within 30 seconds.
Yep.
Before 30 seconds. If I can get a punchline out before 30 seconds, those videos do far superior than any of my other videos.
So the joke's kind of like a hook.
Mhm.
But yeah, I always thought it was really strange. Like, really, I don't know what they're going for. I don't know if they're trying to be an all-encompassing social media platform. Like, they're trying to do everything that everyone else is doing, but they already
Which
have their own corner, you know?
yeah, we're gonna play catch up right now with some of the other ones. We get more views than YouTube. We already proven TikTok gets way more views than YouTube already. The issue is TikTok's going to come into a problem. This is something why I'm trying to do all social media platforms and not just TikTok. There will come a day where ad revenue is going to pretty much cripple.
Yeah.
This happened with Vine. However, I think TikTok's already putting things in place. Like you can already they already have people coming into ads, right? You
Yep.
see ads constantly as you're scrolling. Vine didn't
Celebrities,
have
yeah.
yeah, Vine didn't have that. So what's going to happen is down the road, certain things are going to start getting pulled. For example, music.
A
Wait,
lot of shit is gonna be
yeah,
gone.
like, I already have stuff. That's another reason why I want to go back with some of my videos. There's certain songs that you can't even listen to now because the audio has been pulled.
Yep.
When they pull the audio, they don't pull just the music. They pull everything.
Yep.
So, like, if I had a video that had, I think, funny enough, I think it was the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I think it was getting jiggy with it. If like Will Smith's music got pulled and I had audio when I was talking over it, all the audio is just gone. The video's a dead video. It's a waste of space on my channel.
I had a video of
That's
Quintessence
brutal.
playing his created
Oh,
character of oh my god, Leroy, is it Leroy Smith? What's his last
yeah,
name?
Leroy Smith as
Yeah, Leroy
Kanye
Smith.
West.
As Kanye West. Yeah, he made a created character that looks exactly like Kanye West. And so I made a video where I was like, oh my god, it's Kanye West. And then, I put like one of Kanye's songs in the background, and that video is dead because and it has a
Yeah.
quarter of a million views. And it's gone. I can't, it's not gonna get anything, it's not gonna get any traction anymore.
Yeah,
Um
that's a damn shame.
which is, yeah, it was people were really enjoying the video, and at the time Donda was about to come out, and so people were making tons of jokes about it, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, I totally understand like
Some of Britney Spears songs also got pulled for me already too. There's another one. When Britney had all that drama going on with her legal stuff,
yep.
all of her music got pulled. That was a huge drama. Tons of people had music. Like "Toxic" is such a popular song. You know what I mean? So everyone was using that song for like. Like
Yeah.
that got everyone was using that song for a trend a couple months back, and then all that legal shit went with her. Gone. All of her music just got pulled from TikTok because she has to re-upload it in her name so she gets the money. So all of our videos that had any Britney Spears songs all get screwed.
Are gone, yeah. Especially like, with the idea of them wanting you to use like the whatever viral music is going on, and then you just turn off the song playing in the background or whatever it is. And like even that, they'll still take down the
Yeah.
volume, like even if it's not
It's
playing.
insane.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Like the fact that if we want to talk about things that need to change on TikTok, that need to help us improve the app, be able to change the thumbnail at will at any point in time,
Yeah.
be able to change the hashtags, that would be a huge one. If I could change the hashtags afterwards, be able to go in and change the edit some of your video. Say I put like a text and I spell something wrong, I can go back into the video and change it. Oh my god. Some of this stuff would be godlike if they did it, but however, that's so much extra work they don't want to do. Have it like an actual download button, like an actual download button, not just a cheating one where it has the TikTok
dots.
watermark on there.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. And so that way you can move it to other platforms without people getting mad at you for being a TikToker because you posted on
Mhm.
something else, and then
Yeah.
which is so stupid. But yeah, I totally get it. And then I suppose at this point we'll do I want to do like 2 rapid fire questions, and okay. Uh do you want to talk anything about like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? It's a bit cringe and a little overplayed at this point.
I have an opinion about it, but it's not as hot as you probably want to hear.
It doesn't have to, like, I'm not going to be like, well, you know what Phil of course said on the podcast. You
It's
know?
just one, it's none of my business. I know it sounds like a cop-out answer,
No,
but it's
it's not.
true. I'm definitely siding with Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Because I'm a comedian at heart still. And I've never been slapped, but I've been screamed at with like this close to my face by other people before for something I've said
Mhm.
that I didn't mean any harm. I
That's pretty
understand
scary.
whatever is going on with Mr. Smith. I hope he's getting help for it.
Yeah.
There's something that was something more than just a joke.
Like a
There
cry
was-
for help almost.
There was a million things behind that slap,
Yeah.
and just Mr. Rock happened to be the one that got screwed over it. I think it's very uncalled for. I know he apologized. Chris Rock is a legend in my eyes for just taking that and continuing the show.
Dude, yeah, I would
Bro,
like the
like-
amount of respect I have for him, like just taking it and being like, "Hey, what was that all about?" And then, just like continuing without, making a scene or being upset. I was impressed, yeah.
Yeah. Like you even
How did
saw
he
the
not
part.
make a joke?
Yeah. Like, oh man, like he's a legend to me.
Yeah.
Chris Rock is a legend. Like he will after that. Also, like Chris Rock is gonna be known as the guy who got slapped and didn't fight back, which
Yeah.
is a good and bad thing the way you look at it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be honest, if that happened to me, I would have not struck Will Smith back. Gonna be damn straight. That would have not happened. The way I wouldn't have probably pressed charges, but I would have made his life a living hell after.
So
I would have gone on a rant on Twitter. I would be like, this dude has slapped me and I would have used every dirty thing in the book after I wasn't being paid anymore by the Oscars. I would have fucking left there and went on a tear against him because that was super uncalled for. That's something because a real man would show up after that happened and get in his face, but you have some problem about my wife. You say that afterwards, not when it's televised to 500,000 people or 1 million people or whatever low number the Oscars is being watched at.
Yeah.
It's complete. It just doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me how that went down.
And like I suppose it depends on where it happened. Like, let's say it happened on the street. Oh, we're throwing hands. But if it happened at the Oscars, it's like,
if that happened on the street, I would you probably would fight back. But like, this is televised. Some of the people that are in that audience are literally legends. There's also people that are in that audience that are literally the elite.
Illuminati.
Like in their minds, they're like, this is like how uncivilized. Like that's all I'm thinking is when I see
uncouth.
Yeah, exactly. Like these people like, did he actually slap him? Like that's all. Like if you saw some of those some of the response videos, it's like Straw Hat Goofy on TikTok. I've been watching him and his experience. That shit was real. I heard the slap. I don't know. I'm definitely picking Chris Rock's side. I don't know what's going on with Will Smith. I hope whatever is going on with Will Smith, he gets his life straight because that's not how an adult acts.
Yeah, and like I especially wanted to ask you as someone who is a comedian, or has done comedy in the past, your take on it because, God, I couldn't imagine
completely uncalled for.
Yeah,
like I said, I've had people lose their minds. I did a joke making fun of the elderly, in terms of when elderly have sex, right? Whenever happens, it's a threesome because you always have the Grim Reaper there too. Like it's a really bad joke, right? I did that joke.
That's a good joke.
I like that.
I like there was a guy that lost it on me. I never told that joke again on stage ever again. Nope, never told that joke because I got screamed at for it. It hurt somebody's feelings. When I told the joke to the group of guys I was telling them, they all laughed at it like you guys just did right now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that again. It was an uncalled joke. I realize it's not a funny joke for everyone. It's not fun for everybody. Just pull it out of the act. That one time when I made all my buddies laugh, it was great. Awesome. But I'm not going to do that in public or with other people because it's going to hurt someone's feelings. Also, I don't need a guy with halitosis screaming in my face again.
Oh boy, yeah,
that'd be the worst part.
They always have bad breath too, right? Like it's always got like the guy who's pissed off. His breath has to smell like ass. Yeah. With that, Phil, where can people find you?
I am Phil, of course, pretty much everywhere. The only exception is Instagram. I'm at Phil of C. Phil of it's hard to explain. Some guy has Phil, of course, on Instagram, and it's killing me inside. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. But Phil, of course, everywhere. I'm obviously the TikTok is the big one I need you guys to follow me on. But Phil, of course, everywhere.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. I usually, no lie, I really do recommend people check you out on a regular basis.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And just because, especially with the community of people that I've met through Twitch, I really always want to. For some reason, I always want to connect everybody, because I always think of it as like it becomes a community from that, and so it's always easier to talk to other people about other things that are going on, and everyone starts to kind of help each other and however you do it. But yeah, man, Quintessence, where can people find you?
Oh, I'm occasionally streaming over at twitch.tv/QuintessenceHD. I don't have none of these fancy TikToks or YouTubes yet. That's about it. Yeah.
All right. And with that, you can find us on pretty much everything: Instagram, TikTok, the backlog. That is, it's all the same name across the board. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're on Spotify now. I plan on getting us on Apple pretty soon. Trying to get us trying to use RSS to kind of get us out to the podcast and other places. We're also on Anchor, and yeah. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you coming on, Phil, and we'd love to have you back soon.
Oh, this was a blast, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Phil.
Other than that,
For sure.
guys, we'll see you all soon. Peace out.
Later.
Bye bye.